Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Memory Keeper. I'm your host, Bram, and today's journey will have your adrenaline pumping as we take a leap of faith directly over the Cabarro River.
Join Bram on an exciting journey, sharing travel stories that celebrate the power of memory. Through these stories, Bram raises awareness and support for both patients and caregivers, fighting Alzheimer's in honor of his wife, Sherry, who now resides in memory care. Without further ado, here's today's episode of The Memory Keeper.
Here is my third story. It's about my wife Sherry jumping off the AJ Hackett Bridge in New Zealand, the place where bungee jumping was invented, while many more thrilling things happened on that trip, as you will hear. I decided to call this story Our Wounded Knees. You would think this story would be about Native Americans with their descriptive names. No, this is not about the Wounded Knees tribe, but about a painful, bloody knees we got. We were in New Zealand in the year 2000 to watch the America's Cup in Auckland. The final was between Team New Zealand, the Blacks, and the Luna Rossa Prada from Italy. Not really a contest, as the Blacks under Russell Coutts just knew the waters and winds way too well and had a terrific sailing team. Being on the spectator boat for 4 days was pure joy. New Zealanders are the real blokes, hospitable, sense of humor, and fiercely behind their sportsmen. Next, we made our way down via Rotorua to Queenstown, also aptly known the world home of adventure. There we discovered that New Zealanders are in fact fearless, if not having a death wish. No wonder they sail as well as they do. They expect to drown. In Queenstown, the real fun is to be locked up in a ball that they then push from the mountaintop. All this became clear to us when we arrived at Queenstown's Gateway Bridge over the Cabarro River. In fact, bungee jumping was invented there by this fellow AJ Hackett. No surprise, but my wife wanted to take the leap. Hey, I survived breast cancer, so I can survive this too. And there she went, off the bridge, missing the 3-foot deep river by a meter or so and bouncing up and down till they rescued her in the dinghy. Crazy is, crazy does. Next day, now being below at the same shallow river, think like the Colorado River with the rocky sides. We boarded a jet engine powerboat, helmets on, all 8 of us, and a driver. The idea was to go as fast as 70 miles an hour and then rotate the boat right before we'd be hitting the rocks. Like bumper cars at the annual town fair, but then for real. When we recovered and later told the folks at the hotel, they mentioned the previous week's accident with the 2 Japanese tourists having lost their lives as they had flung overboard. The apotheosis was the Franz Josef Glacier on the west coast of New Zealand's South Island. You take a helicopter up from the coastal tropical forest straight up for about 1,500 meters or 5,000 feet onto the glacier. They gave us spiked shoes, but our shorts were still for the tropics, with open knees. We navigated the crevices and the seracs, which are basically ice blocks ready to collapse, walking along 5-inch ridges with 50 feet deep ice ravines. Oh my, this was New Zealand bliss. No surprise that after 2 hours our knees were bleeding from the sharp encounters, and we had our fill at that time of the New Zealand death cult. Telling our guide, "We've never been so happy boarding a helicopter, and when we are down, can you please tell us where the next bar is?" I hope you enjoyed that story. It's truly an honor to share our stories with you. And see you next week for the 4th week's story, which will be about Jean-Jacques, the Air France pilot, and post-9/11 French exceptionalism. It will make you laugh out loud, I promise you. My name is Bram, and I am the Memory Keeper.
Thank you for listening to The Memory Keeper. On behalf of Bram, we want to thank you for your help in raising awareness and support in the fight against Alzheimer's. If you feel inspired to make a difference, please consider making a charitable donation to the Alzheimer's Foundation of America in honor of Bram's wife, Sherry, by visiting thememorykeeper.org and clicking the button that says Donate. On our website, you can also sign up for our email list and receive the newest episodes directly to your inbox, as well as a full listing of episodes, show credits, and learn more about this program and why it exists. Lastly, if you enjoyed the series, we just ask you to share this episode with your friends and family, as well as subscribe to the show and follow us on social media at The Memory Keeper Pod. Together, let's continue to raise awareness and make a difference in the fight against Alzheimer's. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you right here next week for another episode of The Memory Keeper.